Hey people, so I want to talk about two Leonardo DiCaprio films that I've just purchased and watched for the first time. That is J. Edgar and Revolutionary Road. Um, I've been thinking about DiCaprio films recently. He's my favorite actor. Made a video about that. I think the guy's a genius. I think his versatility is incredible. Incidentally, a film I didn't mention when I was talking in that video was The Beach. The Beach is a sometimes maligned film, but I really enjoyed it. Anyway, this film review is not about the beach, it's about the two films I've just watched. I'm going to review them briefly. Disclaimer, I will be giving things away, so if you haven't seen these films and don't want a spoiler, guess stop listening now. Um, J. Edgar, this is directed by Clint Eastwood. Um, I have to admit, having watched this, I was somewhat disappointed. Not by DiCaprio's performance, I think his performance was superb, but the film itself. I basically agree with the critics. I think this film was a bit badly constructed, and it feels almost like blasphemy to say that about Clint Eastwood because he's a legend of Hollywood. But the film did seem a little bit incoherent. I mean, the way the black backflashes were managed were a bit. It just didn't seem to fit together so well, and overall, it seemed like it was something, in my view, that was wasted. I was expecting an epic film like The Aviator. Um, it's not a bad film. I'm not saying that it was a complete disappointment. There were good scenes in it, but I think that incoherent factor really took away the enjoyment of the film. And there was also quite a lot of emphasis on his homosexuality or alleged homosexuality. Um, well, that's a historic reputation that J. Edgar Hoover had. It's something I only found out yesterday, actually, when I was looking into the synopsis of the film. Um, I think that I wouldn't take anything away from DiCaprio's performance, but the film was a bit messy in that sense. I was slightly disappointed. Also, the makeup looked too exaggerated. I mean, when J. Edgar Hoover and his partner um, in the FBI were depicted as old men, they were meant to be in their 70s. The film made them look like they were 100, so it exaggerated the age factor in quite a big way, not just visually, but for example, the partner Clayton Torton, I think he was called, forget the guy's name, the character's name. As he was coming into the room, he was really walking at snail's pace. Now, 75 isn't ancient. There's not that many 75-year-olds that are that sort of I think it's something that happens in films very often actually when a character is aged, they are aged too much. 75 is not that old. It's not 85, it's not 95, and it's certainly not 100. Um, so that was another aspect that I didn't think was great. I don't want to be too critical though, because obviously it's incredibly difficult to direct a film. I've never done it, so that's that. So out of 10, I'd give J. Edgar between 5.8 and 6.5. It's still a watchable film, but could have been better in my view. So was somewhat disappointed. In the second film, actually this was made first. J. Edgar was released in 2011. This was released in 2008. This is something I've always been intrigued by, um, because it's Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio. So of course, you know, first film they've done together since Titanic. Of course, it's going to be interesting. I like the cover, incidentally, of this DVD. It's almost like a picture rather than a photograph. Um, I thought, okay, I'll check this film out, see what it's like. I honestly thought it would be a little bit boring and slow moving. What I've got, I've just watched it. I thought it was very good, a very interesting film. It wasn't boring, it was just about the right length. Directed by Sam Mendes, it's a British American film. Um, it was a very watchable film, and I really enjoyed it. It wasn't boring, and it's a powerful film because it's a film about a relationship, but one that effectively, at least from my perspective, makes you feel for both characters. Of course, it goes without saying, superb performances from both DiCaprio and Kate Winslet. It's just interesting to see them together again on screen. But interestingly enough, you're not sort of thinking this is Jack and Rose and Titanic. You know, they're completely different characters, and at least from my perspective, I was barely even thinking of Titanic. So that's clearly the impact that their acting has in this. Um, to put it briefly, it's about a couple, a young couple, who are living together, but they sort of have ideological desires that they don't have. He's working in a 10-hour job that he hates. Um, you get the impression, actually, this isn't explicitly mentioned, but get the impression she's suffering from some sort of mental problem, like a bipolar disorder or something like that. But it's a powerful film because you honestly see both sides. There's scenes where they're both being unreasonable, scenes where they're both being reasonable at different times. So you genuinely find yourself sympathetic to both characters. It is a sad film, it's a sad ending, and if you've seen it, you'll know what I mean. That's a bit of a downer, but it's a beautifully shot film. Very nice soundtrack, and the way it's put together is very, very effective. So Revolutionary Road was better than I expected. I give it, for what it does, I give it 8 out of 10. I did enjoy it. 7.5, 8 out of 10. It's a good film. Can't really think of any critique. I honestly can't. Except maybe it's a bit of a downer at the end, but it is based on the novel, so that's that. So that is my film reviews of Revolutionary Road and J. Edgar. Thank you for watching.